All right, amazing people, good morning. It's a beautiful morning, and I'm excited to be coming your way on this beautiful day. I trust that you're doing great. It's the beginning of all right, of a new work week, and it's going to be an amazing day. Trust me, you're going to have a fruitful week. It is what I wish and desire and also pray for you and for your business. This is Business Sense with Coach Simon. I trust that you had a lovely weekend. I trust that the weekend was restful for you. For those of you who the weekend was not that restful for you, like some of us, don't worry. Just in between the week, just find time to rest, or in between the day, just find time to rest. Even if it's just 15 minutes nap, 20-minute nap, or 30-minute nap, you are going to be fine. All right. Yes, so we move again. Okay, so this week I'm going to be doing a series that I felt is necessary. I felt is important for your business. All right, and I'm going to be talking about brand elements, or branding elements for your business. Branding elements for your business. It's no longer news that branding it's very important for your business. And as a branding expert, a branding coach, and as well as consultant, I have seen the power of branding. And I can tell you from experience that branding plays a pivotal role in your business, especially if you desire to grow a global brand. Because this is what the show is about. The show is to help you build a globally profitable and relevant brand. And the vehicle of branding is a must to be able to achieve that objective. So I'll be looking at a couple of things, but for starters, for some of you that may be wondering or asking, what is branding? Branding is simply the art of influencing people's perception, influencing people's opinion, or influencing people's stand about your business. Talking about business branding. All right. In other words, branding is simply the act of creating. When people think about your business, what should come to mind? The art of creating that opinion that should come to mind. That is what branding is really about. Right? That is what branding is. All right. So in this case, our focus will be on business branding. Our focus will be on corporate branding, like as it were. So this series is dedicated to teaching you the various components of the branding elements, the various things that you can use to be able to brand your business, right? Because I've of course I've had interactions with business owners, all right, especially those who have business ideas that they want to develop into a business fully, and some of them are referred to me, especially when it comes to the aspect of branding it, and there is usually this confusion as to, okay, what should we then do? All right, what should we then do? I know that there are some things out there that people already know that they should do, but what are the other things that people really don't pay attention to that is equally important? All right, because the truth is that branding embodies a lot of components. When I mean components, I mean it has different parts. And just like the makeup of your body system, it's a system. And so every unit of your body system is important. Imagine that you have toothache, for example. All right. You may not be able to do anything. Right, you may not be able to do anything because you just the entire body need to attend to the tooth that is being ache or that is aching. All right. And once that is sorted out, once the ache is gone, you discover that the entire body is good. Imagine that maybe it is your head that you're having headache, you won't concentrate, or it is your eyes. So that is how important branding is. Branding embodies different components, and that's what in the course of this series I'm going to be taking you through so as to be able to help you. However, let me put this out there. However, this may be just a sort of information for most people. You understand, this may sound theoretical, and so if you want us to flesh them out, you understand, because there is information on one hand, and there's also the implementation on the other hand. The implementation is what would eventually help you create an experience from the information. I'll say that again. It is implementation that would help you create an experience from the information that you have. And so it is very, very important. I wish that somebody will help me write this down if I forget. All right. So it's very important. So I'll be looking at a couple of things. All right. Now, I want you to also know that branding is basically divided into two parts. When it comes to the issue of branding, it is divided into two parts. I'm not talking about two categories now. I'm talking about two parts. There is the part that people see, and there is the part that people feel. There is the part that people see, and there is the part that people feel. And these two are very important, because if you just deal with the part that people see alone and you don't tackle the part that people feel or that people should feel, the entire mix will not be complete. Like I said, it's a system. So it comprises different units, and any unit that is not working well, it may pose a challenge to the other parts that are working. All right. And so we'll be dealing with the part that people feel and the part that people see. And I decided that I was going to start with the parts that people feel. The part that people feel, because that is the part that is often neglected, which is also very, very important. It is very, very important. In fact, it is the foundation. It is the basics. It is the base. It is the base upon which that which people see can easily thrive on. You understand? But if the base is not there, that may become an issue. And so in the course of this, we'll be looking at a whole lot of things. We'll be looking at defined perception and objectives as the part that people feel. You understand? So that's on one hand. On the other hand, we'll also be looking at vision. We'll be looking at core values. We'll be looking at brand personality or personalization. The part that people see. We'll be looking at name, logo, and the rest of that. So without wasting much time, let's delve into the part that people feel, the part that people feel. And I'll just touch on two very important things, or maybe I'll just touch on one. All right, I'll just touch on one for the want of time. Tomorrow I may do two, because we're going to be looking at about 8 different parts, and so we'll just break it in that order. So we'll be looking at the first thing. Now, when it comes to branding, aside the business idea that you want to brand or that you want to develop, there is something that is very, very important, and which is the fact that the defined perception. And the truth of the matter is that not many people pay attention to this, the defined perception, because all of your branding efforts would lead to one destination, and which is perception. So the question therefore is, what perception do you want to create what perception do you want to create about your business? All of the efforts that you're going to put at branding your business, what perception do you want to create? It is something that is very, very important. What perception do you want to create? When people think about your business, what should come to mind? It is something that you should deliberately write down. What perception do you want to create? Like for me, for some of my businesses, like the finishing business, is that of the perception I want people to have is that of professionalism. And I kid you not, that has really worked. You understand? Because I hear things like, well, I've tried a couple of other people, but when it comes to good job, you are the go-to person. I've heard that severally. You understand? From clients. You understand? So it is something that you need to deliberately. So all of your actions, all of the things that you put in place should be channeled towards this. And this is like having the end in mind. That is the reason why I started with how people feel, or what people should feel, what they should feel about your business. And so the very first thing that is very important that you need to write down, you need to define, you need to have in front of you that would sort of guide you is, what kind of perception do you want people to have? And perception is not about, it's intangible. You understand? It's intangible. You understand? There are some businesses today that when you mention their names, there are some organizations today that when you mention their names, in fact, let me push it further. There are some industries today that when you mention them, there are certain perceptions people have about them. When you talk about tailors, somebody will like, yes, those people can disappoint. You know, but the truth is that not all of them can disappoint. In fact, I've encountered those who can disappoint. I've equally encountered those who blew my mind by keeping to time and by also delivering quality job. Do you understand? So, what kind of perception do you want to have? It is very, very important because it is perception that would either keep people coming to you or would chase them away. Perception is very, very important. It's very, very, so you need to define what kind of perception. Do you want to create a perception of integrity? Especially for those who are into finance and investment kind of business. You know that integrity is very, very important. Integrity is very, very important. If you're into schools, all right. If your business is academic in nature, you're into the business of schools and all of those things. You know that academic excellence is non-negotiable. You understand? So all of these things. You understand my point. Safety too. If you are into food, if you are into food business, you know that hygiene is very, very important. You know that quality is very, very important. You know that nutrition is very, very important. So what kind of perception, when your business name is mentioned, what kind of perception do you want people to have? It is something that you need to have at the back of your mind. And so that is the first thing. All right. Then attached to it are your objectives. What are your objectives for branding? It can also mean what are perception. You understand? Perception. So your objectives, what kind of perception do you want to have? Aside that also, what are the objectives? What are your objectives for branding? Do you want to create a perception that you can use to achieve what? It's very important. Do you want to create a kind of perception that would be easier for people to onboard new investors, that will attract new investors, or you want to create a kind of perception that will keep bringing businesses, that will keep making it easier for people to reach you? So what are your objectives for branding? It is the first place you need to start from. But sadly, it is almost not on people's minds. And as a result of that, they do branding the wrong way. You understand? So it is important, because if you don't have the end in mind, you may realize that you put in so much effort and you're not getting the needed results. All right. So as we continue, like I mentioned, we'll be looking at a whole lot of other equally important things as far as the branding your business is concerned. So it's going to be an amazing ride. All right. So I want you to do me two favors. All right. Two favors. Number one favor is for you to tell somebody about this show. Right. That is the first favor. Tell somebody about this show. This show happens between the hours of 7 and 9 a.m. every mornings. from Mondays to Fridays. All right, it's happening live here. All right. Then secondly, second favor you do for me, share this video. You can share it on your platform. Just reshare it, share it. All right. Or share or send it to somebody that you know that this would be of value to. All right. Those are the two important favors I want to do. Then the third one, which you may or you may not, is if you have any question or any comments, feel free to share that. And if you have questions, I'm also open to taking questions. If you have questions, feel free to leave that in the comment section. Before I go, I want you to know that I run this branding institute, talking about the Limitless Branding Institute, and we have various programs that will be of immense value to you. You know, I mentioned something the other time. I said that it is implementation that will create an experience from your information, from the information that you have. So all of the things that you will be hearing are things that would inform you. All right. How do you then move from information to implementation? You can do that through two routes. The first route is for you to join, is for you to enroll into Limitless Branding Institute's programs. All right. There you have an expanded version of this conversation. Then secondly, if you don't want to go through that academic route, you want to go through the route of just give me just work it out for me. I'm also a branding consultant. You can reach out to me. We'll look at your ideas together and we'll be able to come up with the right branding for your business. All right. So if that looks like what you'll be interested in, just send me a message. Just send me a message and let's take it from there. So thank you very much for investing this time. Now, before I go, you know my birthday is already on the way. All right, very, very soon, precisely on the 2nd of June. All right, but there are a series of activities lined up for the birthday. We did the conversations yesterday. All right, feel free to, I think I shared the reel, my timeline. Feel free to just watch and learn about purpose. All right, then another thing also that I've committed to do is to help 10 people, to take them through a journey, which I like to call a 1-month mini mentorship program. I'll be dealing with 4 key areas. We'll be dealing with public speaking, purpose. We'll be dealing with other areas. All right. When the flyer comes out, you'll find the full details. But if you don't want to wait until the flyer comes out and you want to jump on it right away, just send me a DM with "I am interested in the mentorship program." Just say "I am interested in the mentorship program." And once you do that, I will share you the link and you will join immediately. All right. So sorry for that interruption. So, and only those who reach out will be enrolled. Only those who reach out will be enrolled, and the slots, only 10 slots are opened. I can confirm to you that 2 slots are gone. I'm left with 8. Once I get the 10, it will be a wrap. All right, then we'll focus because it's going to be work. All right, and please, if you know you're not going to be active in that program, if you know you're not going to be committed, you're not going to do what is required of you to do, please don't bother sending me a message. You understand? Because it is for your own good. So thank you very much for investing this time. Samuel Machi is my name. Keep doing business, keep making money, but most importantly, keep living the limitless life. Thank you very much and have a wonderful and beautiful day ahead. God bless you.